Richard Cardone, present.
Olivia Montgomery, present.
Mara Bryan, present.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah.
Testing.
She's on now. He's
Oh,
on.
there it is. Yep, mine's on now. Sorry about that.
Are you on?
I don't think I can hear you.
Danny's not on yet. Are you on?
Testing.
There you go.
All right.
Uh,
Okay, we have no audience here to sign in. So we go to new business. 2.1, discussion and possible action, Fieldhouse property, S3 development, Emerald Bay. Dr. Richards.
All right, Madam President, members of the board, I sent you some documents to look through, just kind of the history of things. So I think it'd be best, since Dr. Cardone was the board president at the time, but just a brief history for some of the new board members. We were approached by this S3 group a little bit more than a year ago, I think, about this development. And they offered to make a donation to the school district. I'll let Dr. Cardone kind of share what we had reached an agreement, which I felt was an agreement, and at their request, we had our attorney, at our expense, draw up a draft agreement that we did send to them in good faith. We did not hear anything back until just this past week, where they made this offer that I've emailed to you guys, which is different than what we had agreed to. And I'll let Dr. Cardone kind of share what happened.
Well, what originally happened is they came to us and they said that we will buy a generator for the field house in exchange for your back 4 acres. And they already had the artist rendition and all the architectural schematics of taking our 4 acres in back for a generator. And they met us here, and Tim and I said, you know, the board is not going to go for this. I don't think that's going to be appropriate. So we met, we told them what they wanted to do, and they were undaunted by that. They went to the city, and they still presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission to take our 4 acres. Now, we had no agreement with them. Tim and I came back to the board and just told them what they wanted to do. And then what we did is, as a board measure, we had Dr. Richard check with our attorneys, and we touched base with the Arizona Land Trust and the state of Arizona in general. And we told them that we were going to get the governor involved if they try to take our land away in some kind of adverse possession capacity. With that, we then heard from S3, and S3 said, let's sit down with the Land Commission and let's talk. So Dr. Richard, myself, and Sam sat down with the Arizona Land Trust Commission and a representative high up in the S3 group. And when we started talking, we said, listen, you're not going to take our land, and we think we're a little landlocked. We need a couple acres in case we want to grow here. We're a school district. Who knows what will happen? Arizona's growing. We don't even have enough parking spots when we have any kind of event here. So we'd like a couple acres. So out of the clear blue sky, S3 realized that we weren't going to go quietly. And S3, right at that meeting, offered us, we're going to give you 5 acres without any contingencies, without any restrictions. We're going to donate 5 acres on the east side of the property to you. No questions asked. Thank you very much. And we said, oh my God, that's so fantastic. So we said, we'll have our attorney write up the thing. They said, great, which we did. And we sent that to them. We didn't hear back from them. The Arizona Land Trust said that they would not put this up for auction until we have a signed agreement. We have an email of that there's no ambiguity there.
I read that in.
Okay, good. So then it was crickets until all of a sudden we see it's on the auction block to be sold. And that's when Dr. Richard stepped in with our legal counsel and stopped that. Now that's where we are today. And in the meantime, they had sent this to us, as you guys all know now, where they want us to trade our 4 acres out back, which they have planned for their golf course, for, a combined usage property on the side. I mean, at some point, we're going to have to do something here. I think we need legal action here. The Arizona Land Trust told us, I don't know if you're familiar with them, I wasn't familiar with them until we met with them. They said the entity that has the highest priority, as you can imagine, are school districts.
Yeah, should be with the trust.
So I think we're in the best
Yeah.
position possible. Now, Ms. Flores asked for 15 acres, and I think I wish we did that, because maybe they would have acquiesced down to the 5 acres that we are getting now. And Marahi, if you can hear me, I think that was an excellent suggestion you had then. We should have followed it. But now we're left with, they're going to try to strong-arm us and take it to auction. If it gets to auction and is sold, we're done. They're not even going to talk to us. They're going to just neglect us. They're going to build all around us. And then who knows what's going to happen. There'll be no possibility for future growth of our district on this venue.
Yeah, on this. When is the auction?
It was 35 days from the day it was postponed. When was it supposed to be? It was like the 21st
I think it was
or
March 26th, maybe,
And now it's been
or
postponed?
21st. Yeah, it was
Okay.
recently, and it got postponed because of our legal counsel.
35 days or
Okay,
something.
oh, good. So.
So I don't know what you guys think, but I think we have to file a lawsuit against S3. Our attorney can, make the fine details, but something to the effect possibly that they breached a verbal contract with us, because we have witnesses that they offered this to us. There's no question. There's multiple witnesses, including the state of Arizona. And maybe sue the state of Arizona too, the Land Trust Commission, for them agreeing to this, and then them just kind of letting the bureaucratic system take hold and putting it on the auction block without following the email that they sent.
So this agreement, they never signed?
They didn't do anything with
return,
it.
They didn't do
Nothing.
okay.
They did not. We sent it out in good faith as per their suggestion. It wasn't our suggestion where it was in negotiations. They made the offer.
Yeah,
We didn't even.
And then nothing.
And nothing. And then we took it upon ourselves to have our attorney write it up. But what's going to happen is they're going to build walls around us here, and our venue is going to be landlocked. And if you ever want to do some type of, building industries here, if you want to do any kind of additional schooling here, if you have any hopes of maybe building out back, we can't. And it landlocks us forever. And when you
Yeah.
have the Arizona Land Trust land right to our east and to our north, I mean, we're not asking for a lot here.
Yeah, 5 acres is, and
Yeah, exactly, Marahi. Exactly. We should listen to you last time.
What the Arizona state said about, they did say they're not going to put an action until we get the land.
Exactly. That's what they said. They said they would not go forward until we got the land, and they either forgot that or they didn't care. It's probably just the bureaucracy. I can't imagine that they were devious here. I just think it's probably the bureaucracy of it that they just went
Well-
ahead with the auction.
and it said right here in the email, I saw the email that said they would hold off.
Exactly. So,
That's
I'm
my
not-
understanding, they hold up. Tim, did you follow up? You have any more updates from the state?
Do you have an update from the state?
Just through our attorney, the state said that they are postponing the auction for 35 days to give more time for us to reach a possible agreement with the S3 group, but we already had an agreement, and
Yeah.
it seems like they're trying to change it now.
exactly. Exactly.
And I know you've got somebody, oh, sorry, go ahead.
What is the attorney's position? Like, what can you do now?
I have not spoken to the attorney about what our options are, but that would be, I guess the board could make a decision on what to direct us to do from here.
Well, if it goes to auction and it's sold, they're just going to ignore us. All our power lies in before the auction to get some kind of deal. And I think at this point, we gave negotiations, in good faith we negotiated with them, and they manipulated the situation and changed the basics of the contract on us, and now are trying to negate the fact that they offered to give us that. So I don't think we can negotiate with these people anymore because they've showed bad faith. The whole way they've showed bad faith. And I think this is just an exclamation point of that. And I think we have no choice other than to do some kind of lawsuit. Who knows how far it'll go? I mean, I can't imagine it's going to go that far once legal counsel files some kind of motion and a lawsuit against S3 and lawsuit against the Arizona Land Trust. I can't imagine that's not going to get their attention in a way that they're going to say, okay, let's solve this. I can't imagine that they're going to get the Arizona Attorney General. We're going to have some big, long drawn-out fight over something like this. But when they offered it to us, and there's witnesses, and now they're pretending like it didn't happen, then that's a problem.
Something must have got their attention because they postponed it, right? You said the.
Well,
because the
I
legal?
think those emails really, they were squirming, knowing that they said that, and I
Yeah.
think they realized, if we go ahead with this, we're going to really look bad, especially when, we're not some capitalist company here. We're a public school
Right.
trying to just get
Right.
some little bit of land for our future kids.
Can I have something clarified here? So, Dr. Richard, is it true that once we sent out the agreement of which they was their suggestion, there was no correspondence for about 6 months? Is that my understanding correct?
Yeah, there was several months. The attorney did a draft agreement. It was sent to them. We did not hear anything back for, I don't know if it was exactly 6 months, but I will say it was several months. And then I followed up with the attorney as recently as a month ago, and she had said she still had not heard anything back on the draft agreement. And the next thing that happened was we saw that the auction was advertised in the paper, at which point in time I reached out to the State Land Trust, and you could see those emails,
Right.
and I was asking, hey, what's going on here? And I didn't hear anything back. I got ghosted by the State Land Trust. So then I had an attorney contact the State Land Trust, and I think that got their attention because they postponed the auction for 35 days to give us some time to figure out what our next steps will be.
And you've got somebody looking into the fact that whether the bond would even allow that trade.
Yeah, another matter that, because there was original, going way back to the initial discussions, there was talk of kind of maybe doing a land swap or this or that, and I did learn that because of the bond, we are unable to sell our land. And so now this recent offer of doing lot line adjustments, I have our attorney looking into whether we can even do that. They seem to be interested in our back property. For some reason, they want that as part of their development. But I don't even know if legally we could do that.
Right.
I don't think that's
So they changed
Yeah.
the agreement out of the blue, and now we may just not be in a position where we could actually do it per the bond. So that's interesting.
yes, sir.
There's no way they could take our 4 acres back there, is there?
Well, that's what we were concerned with because
Yeah.
Well, the
they-
city tried to do that.
Exactly. The city
Oh.
had it on planning and zoning
Okay.
that they were rezoning our property without, we had no agreement,
yeah.
and they hadn't even made the offer at that point. And it was on the agenda for city council, and Dr. Richard and I went to the meeting and went to call to public and complained about it, and then they amended it right there.
Good.
And it was kind of astounding that they had our land on it to be rezoned. And then they said, oh, this is just a typo, we're sorry about that. Well, it was on their artist rendition to take our property. So,
Yeah. Well, I'd like that 5 acres, but I don't know. Are they
Well, I think we can have just file suit and with the Arizona Land Trust and say, you know, we'd like these 5 acres that were originally promised to us, whether it's given to us by S3 or whether it's given to us by the Arizona State Land Trust. They can certainly, that's in their purview to do that.
Yeah,
So-
and isn't that what the land trust is for schools?
Exactly. They said that
I
there's,
agree with you, Dr. Richard. And what about pushing back and also say that they cannot proceed with the action until we get that land?
well, exactly. And that's what we said originally, and they double-crossed us. I'm not sure who double-crossed us, but someone did. Whether it was by buffoonery or by intent, I don't know. But, so I think we have no, if we try to go back and forth negotiating with them, they've shown bad faith in negotiation. The only thing they're going to understand is the tip of a sword, where we have a lawsuit out there, and then they're going to have to decide, okay, is it worth fighting this lawsuit, or just let's give these people their land, or maybe the Arizona Land Trust will give us the land. That's what I'm hoping for, and then we can just,
And I think if they put the again, and then they cannot continue with the development, because if they cannot go to action, they may be something to do something.
you're
You
right.
have to make sure, yeah, you're going to say that's going to act.
Exactly.
Another thing I found interesting, and I do not know if this is true, we have a reporter here, maybe they could look into it. It was said to me that this development group is partially owned or may be owned by the Chinese Communist Party. I do know there's stories of China companies buying up land in the western part of the United States. I do not know if this is true or not, so I don't want to make that accusation, but I think someone did someone say that to you too, Dr. Cardone?
Someone from the city anonymously, they want to be, confidential, but they told me that the same thing.
Well, obviously, communicating has no efficacy. So I am leaning towards Dr. Cardone's suggestion of taking this in more of a litigated legal matters. I think that's probably the solution here, because if you give an agreement in good faith and you have no correspondence for 6 months, there's nothing in my mind to be had there.
Exactly.
Well, it seems like there's been more than one attempt to try and take that back parking lot, so that kind of worries me. Like you guys said, you went to and found out they were doing it and said, oh, it's a typo, and then now it's right here that they're trying to get, that's our parking lot. We don't want this untouched land and then have, I think somebody was saying earlier before the meeting started that what are the rules on this land? If they develop it for parking, are they going to give us rules on what we can do on that land now?
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will try to do that.
It seems a little bit shisty.
See, because the one
Could I
turn,
make a motion?
I'm sorry, say that again? Oh, make a
Could I make a
motion.
motion?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay. I think you're following what Dr. Cardone has said and everything that has been done. I make a motion that Dr. Richard goes back to the attorney and give us an option to do both the state and what is the name of this group?
S3 Development Group.
I second that.
And we go and do that. And also that the land will go to action until an agreement is reached.
It was kind of hard to hear that, but if I can summarize it, that we will, Dr. Richard will reach out to our attorney. I guess it will be Ashley, because she knows the issue also, that we file legal action against the Arizona Land Trust and S3, and we proceed ahead with that to try to get at least 5 acres, if not 10, of the land immediately east adjacent to the field house. And that we file lawsuits, and Ashley can decide the extent and the wording of it. Maybe, for example, maybe breach of verbal contract, but there may be other things in legal jargon that I am, naive of, that I don't want to limit us by this motion here. You know, so I want you to have some latitude in how you structure a lawsuit against those people and possibly others. So at least the Arizona Land Trust, at least S3 Group, and possibly more entities. Are you okay with that, Marahi, that just amendment? Because it was hard to hear you. That was why I was saying that, because we couldn't really hear you that good.
That is exactly what I said.
Okay,
The
good.
only thing that I wanted to include is that the land doesn't go to action until an agreement has been reached.
Exactly. You second that? Then, okay. We have a motion, we have a second.
Aye.
Aye.
I
Okay, good. Any other? No. So I guess you're gonna have to touch base with Ashley, and, well, I don't know. I mean, if we get into that, I think that really shortcuts us, because if they try to do that, the left turn out there is where the partition in the highway is. So if they're going to try to have some language, well, what if we don't want to have a parking lot there? What if we want to keep the parking lots we have and build something else on 5
Build a district
acres?
office.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Or something.
Exactly. I mean, I don't want to be tied here. I thought the best thing is to get that land and just save it. And who knows what will happen in the future? Maybe we need another building. You know, maybe we want to do some building industries thing there. Maybe we're going to expand the field house. Who knows? But I would recommend that we don't allow them to have any kind of language
Okay,
in that property. Otherwise, it's going to be in there that you can't build a fence more than 5 feet high. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. What if we want to do FFA farming back here? You know, they're going to have you can't have a windmill. You can't have solar. You can't do this. You can't have a parking lot. Macadam can't be more than 4 inches thick. You know, you can't have a gravel base on that. It'll go on and on and on. And then our hands will be tied. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what
no
they
strings.
originally said that they would do, that there would be no strings attached, no covenants, no restrictions. That's what they originally agreed to. And I'll be happy, I'm sure Dr. Richard will be too, to sign any affidavit necessary as witness to that.
I think we just need, go back to what's already been drawn up.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. 3.1, setting time and date and location for future meetings. Everybody okay with April 14th, our regular time? Oh, yes. April 5th is the retreat at Mojave High School, since the field house was tied up.
How is it tied up? Is there any way we could be here? That room is kind of just nasty. I mean, can't you give
Yeah,
us?
there's a big event going on here. The Chamber of Commerce Expo is going on, so I think they're using most of this.
How about upstairs? But I guess that's.
Yeah.
Are they using? But they're not out there in the field, are they?
Yeah, they're using pretty much the whole facility, is my understanding.
Yeah, that's what Michelle said, the whole building would be.
Uh,
So that's why I said I'd rather move the location than move
Yeah,
the
yeah,
date.
yeah. I hear you. You're right. You're right. I was just hoping. I thought we used that upstairs one time. That worked nice. You remember?
Oh, not for a board meeting. I think it was for like a.
Well, but the board members were there. It was
Yeah,
agendized,
right,
and
right.
we met with city council or something
Yeah.
up there.
All right, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Goodbye.
We'll see ya. Have a
Thank
safe
you.
trip.
You guys keeping 5-0 and stuff, you're going to ruin your reputation.